the financial system, or America needs the financial system to succeed, and that's going to be the case. This is all noise, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. Equivocal perspective there. All right, guys, it is time to send you to the big boys, but we're going to send you to the big desk with Adira. She's got news, and then Neil and Sean will be on. I'll see everybody at the big desk momentarily.
I'll be brief, but keep an eye here at some of these IT names. Anthropic announcing that their Claude code can automate COBOL modernization. So CTSH, that's Cognizant Technology. This is one that's going to be on watch here. Other ones I'm seeing mentioned here include DXC, which is dropping. That would be DXC Technology, GLOB. I believe that's Globant. It is Globant, dropping a little bit here. IBM reportedly also one to watch on this, and IBM dropping probably the most sharply again. The story here is Anthropic announcing that their Claude code can automate COBOL modernization, I guess proving a bit of a threat for some of these tech and IT computing names. I also want to mention here for the overall market, I'm just seeing a headline now. Senate Democrats reportedly releasing a bill seeking the tariff refunds for the Trump administration's tariffs. Now, again, if there is any kind of tariff refund or payback, this could impact the market and the economy. So just be aware this is now floating around as well as we send you over to kick off the afternoon show.
Always thank you, Adira. Never a dull moment. There's always news coming out. There's actually, there was also just at the same time, Senate Democrats released a bill seeking Trump tariff refunds as well. So that's also hitting the wire. As the last conversation we heard the boys talking about was JP Morgan, but it wasn't just them. It was all of finance here today. Market's been weak today. Crypto's been weak, and there's a lot of things that were down. But I think one of the things that did stand out would have been the financials, given how bad they were doing here today. JP Morgan breaking that $300 level. Just even looking at the ETF, when we were talking about that earlier, breakdown on the ETF, losing major, I'll say significant support at about $51 and looking a little bit nasty. Bitcoin, again, having a weak day, but you know what? It's going to be a good day regardless. Why? Because we are one day now away from the Trader TV Academy launch. So that will be exactly tomorrow. We told you guys Tuesday, February 24th, and that is exactly what it is going to be. So we're psyched and locked and loaded, ready for that to hit the wire.
Yeah, it should be a big one. It's funny because we're long Nvidia and we are short AMD, and we're short the market. I mean, if you guys rolled with me, there's the AMD short. Here's the TQQ short. And then right when we left you guys, Nvidia came back into these levels, and we just went long on Nvidia. We went long again right here again, but that was another banger trade. Wasn't here to reload it there, but all the way up, held it, got some out of the 200 period, got some more out of VWAP. Couldn't break higher, trying this 200 period. If we lose it, we're out. But yeah, what a banger day. Today, SLV, we're still up on that name, and that was really fun to trade earlier as well. We'll be back on that front pretty soon right now. But yeah, like you talked about, we just talked about IBM and what some of this Claude bot and all these kind of things are doing. These names are pretty interesting. I bought some Palo Alto today over lunch, but CrowdStrike down 11% today. Like that's just an absolute monster move. And I don't know if someone sniffed it out on Friday or whatever either, but like you were down on Friday from 420 down to 390 basically, and then that extension move happening here today. So some names getting hit. We talked about IBM as well to the downside, and the IGV there, this ETF. I mean, if you believe in the in the over sort of, I don't know, maybe we're getting overexcited a little bit about what all this AI is going to do and how it's going to revolutionize everything. But here it is right here. Whoops. There's this software, and you can go over here and we can find out, ask Claude, which ones are in, what the major holdings of this ETF are. But you're right, again, near a big spot here for IGV. So I don't know, it's just pretty bad. Probably stocks like Palantir. I haven't even looked at that yet. Again, here, I'm waiting for 100 anyways for Palantir. Oh, Hunter's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, these are the names that we got to have a look at right now. Still long Nvidia, trying to hold out to see if it breaks that bottom. My stop right now is at 190.74. We'll see if that can get going. And then yeah, bank names not so good here today either. So yeah, a lot of back and forth and a lot of push and pull. But at the end of the day, it's not great. IBM Intel near the lows as well. So yeah, just holding most of my shares close to the chest and not selling anything in this downside move, but it's ES and Nasdaq today that are both getting hit. Nasdaq,
Everything is.
Yeah, Nasdaq down 1.3 and ES down 1.09. All right, Neil, here we go. Shorting for A-Lab. Could you give your thoughts? Yeah, well, if you have A-Lab money, then you're good to go. But
you know the joint there, Nick Dubs. I know what you're talking about. Look at the weekly chart. First of all, I've actually never done a swing trade. I don't swing trade short. I've only ever swung long, personally. But I see. Look, I always know exactly what you're getting at. It's always breakdown of a big level or breakout from a big level, or it's gaining or losing a major moving average, Nick. So I'm not surprised if you look at A-Lab. There's your 50 on the weekly. That's a time frame I usually look at. We'll start from if it's much longer term, monthly, weekly, but then I'll go weekly, daily. If we're talking about a swing, like you are losing the big buy level from last year, which is like the 140. You're losing the 50 period. The confirmation that you held under was last week, and that held true. So it makes a lot of sense to me. It's a trend break as well for A-Lab, and there's just a bunch of names which are doing this. We just talked about. Now there was just a question now about IBM. Well, not a question. Sorry, there was just a story about IBM. It's not a question at all. On volume absolutely dropping, but if you look at IBM on the daily, even look at this, like that broke trend last week as well and is making a further breakdown. And you just start to see a pattern among, and it's a host of stocks that we've seen do this, where we're sitting in like multi-year uptrends that are breaking down on weekly charts. So when you see it happening, yeah, these things become shorts till they're not, and ultimately that's what ends up happening is you see like when you have that, the longer the uptrend is, when it breaks, the nastier it can absolutely get. And I'm not just picking on IBM for no reason. This is the one dropping the most that we're looking at in here today. Or even look, like I could have said like CrowdStrike would have been another example here as well. Like we could look at a CrowdStrike. That was also breaking a pretty long uptrend, losing the 50 period. But even if you just do something like draw those lines together, you can see it probably breaks down right in here. Momentum would tell you until it gets to a major support level, maybe it's at 200 again, at 290. Who knows? But again, short till it's not.
And it's tough because, like, I know you bought some CrowdStrike on Friday. I bought some PNW today. Like, you don't know where it's going to go. You just got to try to buy the good names and then figure out.
Well, I even said on Friday, man, I would have pulled if I had an order out from last week on that order, and I had it further back down, and then we bounced higher after PNW's earnings. I'm like, oh, let me move it up. And then I got notification when the news hit of, whatever, there was that negative news, Claude. When that news hit, I would have pulled a bid for sure, but I got the notification that it happened after I got filled. And of course, you want to react to stuff like that on the ground. If something is breaking trend and I'm looking for a DCA, if I see a bad piece of news, would I pull the bid to move back further? Absolutely. But sometimes, at lunchtime, I think I was actually going up for a walk or something. I'm like, oh, I got filled there. That can't be good because it was trading higher. But that's the nature of the game that we're in. And so you have to understand the momentum is where it is. The one thing I'm looking at is that 15 breakdown on Rivian. It actually might get back to $15 after that flat bottom break. So I'm looking for a reload at that volume weighted average price. It was a flat bottom break it was the last thing I left you guys with, but we're pretty close to coming back and retesting that $15 level, so I am gonna like it. And ZZ, no one talked about coin short today. A few people in the chat this morning were talking about coin, I do believe. There were plenty of people mentioning coin. We were short Bitcoin earlier, and I know lots of people were looking at this, or maybe even like BMNR. Robinhood, we mentioned, was looking incredibly weak, down 7%. Bitcoin got smoked today. IBIT's been a short pretty much all day, and this is what happens. Momentum's going in the other direction, especially in crypto, because even when we're strong, this is weak.
All right, here we go, man. We just took out some more Nvidia. I mean, it came into the 21-25 period moving average. Just trying to scalp it out in what has been a down day. Obviously, we'll try to hold. You can see we're holding the shorts a little longer than we're holding the longs, but a nice move up there on that reload. And our stop on this name is 74s. So It doesn't matter. My price is going to keep changing up because remember, it gives you first in, first out. So, it was giving these prices and then you average in. It doesn't necessarily give you an average price. Every single time I'm getting out, it's going to get closer and closer to this price. But this fill was 90, so it was 15 cents worth of risk. So we just take 30, 35 to the upside. Let me take out one more piece right now at 08. Okay, there it is. We punch out. And now we'll wait to see where Nvidia goes. Still the same stop for Nvidia. All right, he's ready. He's in the back. His name is Sharif, and he has the rundown right now.
Welcome, everyone. The afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every single afternoon. The big boys, Neil and Sean, they are locked and they are loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers on this afternoon rundown, you have to join us in the chat and you have to vote every day, but make sure to throw in that $ before you choose the ticker that your heart so desires. Let's look at all four major averages, and I have seen better days, gentlemen. All four are in red territory with the NQ down 1 1/3, the triple Qs down 1 1/3, the SPY down 1.1, the Dow down 1.6, and the worst of them all, the Russell 2000 ETF IWM 1 3/4, but it is off the lows. This one was down about 2.5 midday. The first name, as decided by you guys, no surprise at all there, Nvidia. And this one is reporting on Wednesday, and multiple analysts chiming in today about Nvidia, with D.A. Davidson maintaining the same buy rating on Nvidia and the same price target, actually $250. They also say that they're expecting strong earnings from the AI bellwether. KeyBank Capital also reiterating their overweight rating on Nvidia and maintaining the same $275 price target, with Wedbush as well reiterating their outperform rating on Nvidia and maintaining that $230 price target, boys. So Nvidia up 2 1/3. Multiple analyst agencies chiming in.
Yeah, multiple analysts chiming in, but none of those analysts could push it through that 94 top. So it's another day, and it's basically the same story for Nvidia. It doesn't really break through the highs here. I mean, the good news is it's relatively strong, right? So it's up into a down market, helped by some of those upgrades. I mean, the understanding that, let's be real, they're going to have big numbers. They're going to have big numbers on Wednesday. I don't think anybody is denying that. But somebody's selling it every time it gets up to 93, 94. And there were probably more, I don't know, I thought there were easier stocks to go short because things were trending down this morning. Like, what would you rather short this morning, Bitcoin or Nvidia on strength? Like, sure, Nvidia turned at 194, but you had to sit there as it was screaming to the upside if you wanted to grab that. And since then, it's managed to hold a 90, which is a good sign. But I think all eyes are going to be, can it break out post-earnings above this 94? We've been coiling for so long on Nvidia at this point that you've got to feel like it's that sprinter in the blocks, right? Like, just give it a reason. If it gets past 94, it's going to be a popular breakout level. My guess is you don't get that breakout trade, because if we're going over 194, we're gapping over on Wednesday afternoon is what I mean.
Look, we had exactly what we talked about we would do today, and that was buy 190s, and that's exactly what we did there on Nvidia, and it's the biggest stock of the show, and there it goes, man. Nvidia upside is what it is. It's a huge trade. We bought some 189.50s or so there on Nvidia, and it just looks like it's turning out for us right now. So yeah, we're really obviously satisfied with this move there. I was saying we want to go long into earnings, and I'm still doing that. So we're still trying to buy this stock into earnings. Still feel like it'll be a good report there, regardless of what the stock winds up doing. The last time, we had earnings, we were up here and then down. So it's like, a couple good days and then flush. So I could see us definitely reaching, look, last earnings season was right here. So boom, there's the move up and there's the move down. So it's almost setting up to basically be the exact same trade all over again. So not rocket science here, man. Nvidia's along. You wait until the earnings report. It gets up to 210, and then you probably short it. So I'm just sitting here doing what I do, and that's, trading. And there's Nvidia right there. Like I said, man, big, huge stock for me today, and yeah, really happy. It's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to get that 190. It came in, and we talked about it earlier on. Here's the 190 right here, as clear as day. We always used to have like the trade of the day, and this would be it. It came right into the level that I wanted, and boom, it hit it and it went to the upside. I mean, the TQ trade is pretty epic too in the morning. Maybe we'll get to that after, but at the end of the day, I really like this move here for Nvidia off of 190. It's really nice when the plan works out. So there it goes, man. It's God's plan, Sharif. Let's go back over to, shout out to Drake. Let's go back over to Sharif at the big desk.
God don't need to trade.
No,
I put this on the headline, guys, but the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Pentagon is flagging risks of a major operation against Iran. So watch out for some geopolitical headlines. That's just coming in now via Financial Juice. Let's talk about silver, up 3 3/4%. The highest it's been at more than 2 weeks. Silver prices gained, according to this article, as the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against President Trump's tariffs and sent the dollar lower. Guys, in any event, gold and silver, they're both up today.
Let's double check. Oh yeah, it is the J contract.
Yeah,
checking oil futures there, and I wanted to be sure. Like when I don't see them moving around, I'm like, oh, maybe that doesn't actually mean all that much. Sometimes we'll actually get activity in the futures market, oil futures there. But silver, it is on a nice. Before we get to silver, come on, got to get here first. We have Repress has just sent 20 Trader TV Live gift memberships. So if you are in the chat, you can see everybody in the chat that's been gobbling them up there. So Old Wise Trader, Chris Light gets them as well. Rainbow Key also getting some free memberships. Mike the Rider. If you're in here, remember, to get the membership, you actually have to be in the chat. So it's a subs-only chat. Hit that subscribe button, and then you can be in the chat. You can ask questions. Hey, you can get your symbol in the rundown. If you're interested, put that $sign in there as well. And if you're asking, Neil, or anybody, what exactly do you get with said membership? Well, what you get. You get Sharif's morning note. See, today's date, February 23rd. I don't know how many pages. It's 15 pages today of hot fire information. You can start out with Apple, and we'll scroll down. We got Microsoft, and of course Nvidia with multiple upgrades going into the earnings. You had Meta, Story, Alphabet. And so again, it's not just giving you the data and the information, it's doing it in a quick and concise way so that you can prepare your trade every single day. So it's $5 a month, essentially. When you think about it per trading day, I would say it's a phone call in a phone booth back in the day, but nobody uses them, but that's about a quarter. So it's a fantastic value, and to all those that got the free memberships, congrats, and thank you very much to our viewer, Repress, for donating those memberships. Back to silver, this is a breakout trade. Sentiment has definitely shifted a little bit here in SLV. And again, I had one little scalp trade in here, like late, because it didn't really pull back into the prior day high, which is what I wanted to see. But ultimately, this is only stage one. Like, it's gapped up and then realistically barely moved. Right? Like, out of the last week, this is probably the smallest intraday that silver has moved, but it's a consolidation higher. And a consolidation higher is not a bad thing. That's almost like accumulation. So it needs to take out this 80, which it couldn't do today, and then you got room into 83. As long as it holds these prior highs from last week, like the 77 level, I think this is a long into at least that 83 zone. I was in it just now trying to break up, but it just could not find its way to strength past 79.5 or so. So I'll look for the volume-weighted average price this afternoon. There was a lot of support there earlier in the session. If we do get a dip opportunity, I'm only really looking long over 77 here in silver. And silver just doing better percentage-wise versus gold, but they're both good. Both are doing fine.
Yeah, we have some good trades today on silver. Silver was one of the top ideas here on my note today, and we took it, man. We tried to get longs, and so we wanted longs lower, but didn't really come into play today. We are looking at the 200 period moving average on this move down. We started it at small at VWAP, then it came in. This is the kind of trading that I'm trying to do. So brings it right back into the 200 period moving average. Takes highs. We bought some more there as well. Took some more out. Tried again. I'm assuming that was the 200 period right there when I tried it again, and then it failed it, and we went downside. So silver, well traded today for sure, and it just was one of the. It's a top stock. It's not like crazy top or anything like that, but here it was right here on today's note, and it was just silver, 76, 77. Global tariffs, they jacked up those to 15%. Money going to metals with all these geopolitical worries. I could see silver, gold getting upside, and you can see right now on some of that geopolitical worry, we do see silver all the way getting back to some of the day's highs again for SLV. So we did lose out. Nvidia came all the way back in. We stopped out right there. Could have gone longer, but that was okay. We stopped out at that spot. Still, number one stock for me here today is going to be Nvidia. But I love the silver trade, and I think we'll be back into that very, very soon.
And taking advantage of opportunities like the volatility in silver, or managing risk by having your trailing stops or getting into position. All of the things that we learned are all in the Trader TV Live Academy. And we are 1 day away from the launch, everybody. The wait is officially down to, heck, less than 24 hours now. February 24th, tomorrow, the doors are open on the Trader TV Academy, and they are swinging free for everybody. After all the teasing, the building, and the perfecting of this program, the Academy goes live just tomorrow. It's the path that we all took here, and it's been refined and ready for you to step into. Countdown is over, everybody, so check those notifications and clear your schedule out. We want to see you in the Academy. Shout out to all of those that put a lot of hard work went into this, and of course, we've been teasing it for quite some time. So doors open tomorrow. Will be more to come, just like we're going down the line in the rundown. Ooh, I forgot to cheat, so I'm just gonna, we just did Nvidia, so let's not, I don't think it's gonna be silver. We already did. IBRX, maybe, that small capper?
We have, yeah.
Neil, you are close. That one is next. You know, they're constantly changing voting positions as more votes come in. So we're going to talk about SanDisk now, up a little bit more than 4.5%. No specific catalyst today for SanDisk, but widely speculated. You know, the removal of tariffs removes that 25% importation charge. Also, SK Hynix Group Chairman vows to boost AI memory chip output. That is a report that came in this morning. SK Hynix, of course, one of the top 3 global manufacturers of RAM, NAND, and DRAM. 2 out of South Korea, Samsung and SK Hynix, and the other, Micron, American. Guys, SanDisk, up 4.57.
Well, just another one, repress here, 40 memberships today, so 20 plus another 20, guys. So, you know, go get it. Grab Shriek's morning note, and thank you to Repress. We were wondering if it was somebody that's changed their name. So let us know if you're in the chat there, Repress, because we don't recognize you. But thank you so much again for that. I did see that you mentioned that we had changed sort of the way you trade and everything like that. So that's awesome news for that one. Yeah, Nvidia still making the moves back to the upside. SanDisk, yeah. So, yeah, SanDisk upside. I said that Micron, I thought, had a good chance of getting back to all-time highs. Micron's I didn't look at SanDisk yet. I mean, I'll leave that maybe for Neil. But all-time highs there for Micron, 455.50. I think it actually gets there on Nvidia. It had a nice move higher there. Obviously, with this market bleeding down, you're not going to get much going on right now with, you know, chip names or the Nasdaq names in general, unless your name is PayPal. But for right now, upside goes Micron, and I think it does get back into this 450 to 455 area. I'm not sure. My guy Joey Options over there might know how expensive those are. I'm going to sneeze in about 1 second.
Bless you in advance.
I didn't do it. I muted my mic, but I didn't do it there. Anticipate. Fake sneeze right there. How you like that? But yeah, right into there. If you like the bids, you got to take it when it keeps showing support. So down here, 417, 418. We may not get that today, but we can write that down tomorrow and look at this in the morning. I think Micron's along. I mean, if the Nasdaq was up today, I think this thing has 4 or 5 points to it, but it's not. So, you know, boo-hoo. But right now, Micron, I like the stock. I think it gets back to 455 Wednesday or Thursday, and we traded off of that. So, you know, Micron upside for now, no, but I like it, and I think Nvidia will tell a good story of demand. So yeah, I do like Micron.
Yeah, and well, as far as SNDK goes, relative strength is obvious today. If you're up 5% and you're in tech space, when the Nasdaq's down 1 1/3, it speaks for itself. It's almost as if all the strength in Nvidia and the demand that everyone's going to expect to see is just going to boost the memory space again, because we know that's where the buying has been. Like, that's where the dip buyers have come in en masse, and it hasn't ended yet. So I'm not saying that these are going up forever, but the last quarter did justify some of this growth, whether it's talking about Micron or SanDisk. I think you could say the same about both of them. But for now, SNDK seems to be the stronger of the two. It's the one that was able to break through those Friday highs, which is significant, because when you have a market rally like we did, it was kind of a turnaround rally. You want to see, is there a continuation? And some names had that continuation. Apple had continuation today. SMDK had some continuation today. You're still above last week's tops, even with it pulling back. But there was just a question. I'm just just a segue, because there was a question about where you place stops in the chat, or like protecting losses or whatever it might be. I think it comes down to like, what is your trade and what is your reason for the trade? Like if you were somebody that was looking at SanDisk and saying, hey, look at this bull flag on the 15-minute. I like that bull flag as a, as a long entry point. Well, then you have to identify, okay, if it loses 675, somewhere under 675, that little support on the bull flag, that would be the out. Now, for some people, that might be give it to 174. Maybe for some people, that's give it all the way to, 674, or maybe 670. But you have to make that determination where your out is. If your reason to be in is this consolidative support, when that is gone, you've got to give yourself, my reason for being out is it closes underneath on a 15-minute or something. Or it just simply breaks the first even dollar, or it breaks the first $5 on an SNDK because it's a $600 stock. And then once you have that, you can think about where you're out. You can think about your entry point, but you've got to know where you're getting out first. That's one thing I see all the time. And when I used to, as a for risk manager, one of the things that would be infuriating is you'd go over a trade with somebody and they'd say, okay, well, I like this stock to the long side. Okay, well, I understand why you took it long. And then when you were talking about it after, and it's like, well, where was your out? And they didn't have an answer. They're like, I'm like, so you didn't actually have an out before you got in position? And they couldn't sufficiently answer the question. Like, they try to answer that question after they got in, which you should always try to do before. Okay, so next on the list, we now know is going to be that small capper, that IBRX. Sharif.
I lied, Neil. I lied. It's SoFi. But we'll get to that one, I promise. Before we go to that one, new coming in from Amazon. It's not really moving on the stock, but they plan to invest $12 billion in a Louisiana data center. It's set to about open 540 full-time data center jobs and an additional 1,700 positions. They also plan to invest about $400 million in local water infrastructure. Just coming out on the wire now with respect to Amazon. But next on the list here is SoFi, really getting hit. Like a lot of these financial stocks today, 5% plus. Shares of these financial service firms took a hit today, with investors parsing through the possible impacts of AI on many things, including payment processing fees that bring in billions of dollars for the industry every year. The sell-off was kind of based here on this report from Citrini Research that predicted an economic calamity based on the widespread proliferation of artificial intelligence into the economy. It can go on more, guys. You can go ahead and read that, but SoFi is down 5.25% on the day.
Yeah, getting smoked. It's sort of getting hit from all sides, right? Like relative weakness in the financials, growth stocks getting beat down, and then you just have like the old AI crushing trades left, right, and center. So SoFi gets all of that into a flat bottom break, and I liked silver long. The note had silver long, IBIT short, but that was specific. And then Rocket Lab was specifically at the 71 level, and then SoFi was specifically off the 19 level. So it didn't really give you a chance to trade into 19 today. Well, because it basically died at 9:30, like right at the open. It didn't have a bid, and the bid didn't actually come in until like the end of this massive like reversion candle. So like that was the first shot to actually get some kind of a pullback was in here at about $18 after it had already flushed $1.50 and bounced back in. So this turns into a short till it's not scenario, where you've broken a major support level here on SoFi. Time to break out the higher time frame chart, which means I like to look at a weekly when that happens. And when you pull out the weekly, you got about 16.5 would be the next level, like this prior high from 2024. So all systems would say that's where we're headed next here for SoFi. Maybe you can find some strength in the space, but until it shows you a reason, I don't see I can't see why it couldn't head lower. So I'm going to favor shorts in SoFi till at least about $16 to $16.50. Yeah, not looking very good for them, but they were never really going to have a chance. With JP Morgan's getting smoked and the XLF is losing major support, like what do we think SoFi was going to do? It was already selling after the earnings report, and when the entire space loses contain, SoFi is just going to get the worst of it. That's how it works.
Yeah, Robinhood also about to lose it right here, down to that downside. So this looks like tomorrow's trade today if you're going to do it. Look at this break of $70. I mean, this is cut in half. SoFi's almost in half. I mean, SoFi's high was near that $31 or $32 mark. So you're almost cut in half there as well. So some of these fintech names, we saw PayPal catch a little bit of a bid here. We'll talk about that story once we find out a little bit more about it. But yeah, SoFi, not great. SoFi's 32 high, yeah, down to 18. And Robinhood's high is 155 down to 70. So Robinhood's already cut in half. Yeah, not great there at all because one thing that no one's talking about with these stories right here as of late anyways, crypto, like this keeps getting hit. Like as long as crypto goes down, man, these names are going to go down. And, you want to talk about all your crypto trading and how you have all these assets to be able to trade. Well, now no one wants to trade them. So, you are going to get lesser on the volume spike, right? Everyone's so smart when stocks are going up. It's when it goes down when you have the problem. So yeah, I mean, things were great 6 months ago, not so much no more. I mean, same thing with crypto, right? Like this thing's going to the moon. You got literally people out here calling crazy numbers. And right now it's like, oh, well, now it's down to 50 again, or now it's going to 50, now it's going to 40. So when you have that kind of talk, it's not going to be good for these kind of names. So PayPal upside today on some kind of a buyout rumor here. We'll get more on that maybe with Adara when she's back here. But this is one of the fintech names that's actually working today. And it's more to do with, like I was just talking about there, its price already being so destroyed and possibly someone finding some value down here. But PayPal down to $40, what a name. That's also been cut in half from right there. Not cut in way more than half from its all-time highs, but that's the same thing for SoFi and for Robinhood and all that stuff too. So anyways, I like the fintech space, to be honest with you. It's just for today, not really. Like, I don't even want to look at Webull. Let me see where that one is. That's probably $4. Yeah, $5. So, this was a name that, again, it's got to 28 or something on its IPO, something like that. Yeah, 18, there it is right here. So that went to 61, but it IPO came out at 34, goes all the way to 61, closes that day. The very next day, down to 41, and it's never had basically a bid. Well, I mean, I guess it had a bid right there in July, but since then, man, just straight to the downside for Webull. So a lot of these names just getting absolutely clocked out, and I think you just got to wait for them. I don't know. I don't really want to be in anything. I've been buying SoFi on the way down. I've never bought any Robinhood. So, all right. Oh, Sharif's still there. Okay, one more, I guess.
IBRX, guys, Immunity Bio shares a hit 3-year high after Q4 revenue beats expectations. The clinical stage immunotherapy company logged a 5-fold increase in fourth quarter revenue up to $38.3 million, and that beat the street's expectations of $37.9. The top line gains, boys, were driven by a surge in sales of its drug Anktiva, which was approved back in April of 24, up 12.25 now and off the highs of $11.
A small capper making the list without, like, you pull up the daily chart here, it doesn't suck, it doesn't look like a habitual line stepper. It just looks like something which is, believe it or not, breaking out. No, the only thing when looking at this daily chart is how weird this ends up working out today, because the high is exactly $11. And if you look at the daily, the last consolidated bottom was like $5.50. So it's almost like the consolidated low, it's exactly a double from there, which made the top. So I don't know, maybe someone was like, well, if it doubles up from the support level, that's where we're taking the profit, because it got to that $11 and has been losing it ever since. And unfortunately, we kind of flagged this when someone in the chat's like, oh no, it's breaking down. Once these things lose VWAP early, and I'm just loosely talking about small cappers that are gapped up, oftentimes that can be a bit of the death keel. It has a chance to maybe do something this afternoon, but it's been all lower highs. It's not the opening range bottom, but I guess right before the open, support is held at $9.50. If volume can start to pick up, maybe there's a late charge into VWAP or something. But it's not a bad looking daily chart, but not for this afternoon. Like, I would imagine there's got to be some small cappers that look a little bit better here. A for volume and B for the chart. Like, this is a downward trending chart since about I'll call it like 940 or 950. So I'll keep the ear to the ground. Like, what's weird is the number one. It's not what I would have expected. Like, the number one ticker on the trade rate. Like, you've got the SPY, you've got Nvidia, Tesla was just actually at number 1. I was like, oh, really, Tesla? I actually thought IBM with that recent Cloud Smackdown would have been up there. But you do have some of the big cap names that are going to be up at the top. Like no small cappers have made that list. I saw Novo on there as well. Here's ominous for Tesla. Forget about 400 today. There wasn't even any buyers at the 400 level. Back down into the mid 390s for Tesla as that continues to head toward its 200 period moving average. And you have a lot of stocks which they're heading to or breaking major moving averages. When that happens, people start looking to take profits off. Like if you were long this thing from anywhere early last year, well, you're like, oh, look at it break away when it broke that 200 period moving average. But if you were like a swing trade or you didn't trim anything, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of money that if they didn't take anything off the top, when you lose that 200 period moving average, then suddenly you're going to have some sellers en masse. So eyeballs from myself this afternoon. I don't see any small cappers I like. Silver is not really dipping into VWAP. It's just kind of chilling out at the highs. It might go for a breakout of the top. I'd rather buy the next available dip in SLV, up 4%. At least you got some bull market in the metals.
I wouldn't mind going back to silver. Go back to something that you've traded well today. You might as well do that with some silver. But yeah, IBM's its biggest move down since 2020 is happening today. So that's now down 11% and was down 12% at its lows on, again, more Claude stuff. I don't know exactly how, I don't know enough about the intricacies of IBM or anything like that, but I don't know exactly how that bot or whatever would be affecting their business, but obviously there's something here with it today on a new introduction. And yeah, downside there for IBM. I mean, it's coming for every business, so you got to be careful. I wanted to look at IBM because its PE, I don't think was super high to begin with yesterday.
Sorry, Sean, just quickly. So the specific headline that led to this big drop, as you can see in IBM,
23.
was that Anthropic announced that their Claude code can automate something called COBOL modernization. I guess this specifically was a thread to IBM. Cognizant, so CTSH, I believe is the ticker. A couple other of these, like, you know, computer IT type names also dropped.
It's an old school computer language. It's like used a lot in finance, that COBOL, and like government stuff too as well, which is like, that's IBM's baby.
I guess so, and that's why, yeah, like, so it only has a PE of 23 right now, so that's interesting.
No,
so
better now.
We'll have to wait to see what's going on today with that because, yeah, downside. I really do like IBM. I don't know if it shows the dividend. I think it's only like 2 or 3% rate on dividend yield. Yeah, IBM, 2.6. So it's a 2 or 3%. Give me 2.6% for a win right there. But yeah, so that's what it is. This is the news feed out here. PayPal stock up, takeover interest right there on PayPal. So we can have a quick little look on that one.
Only because then I'll cop to this. I remember we saw that in PayPal. I don't recall hearing a rumor as to who might be buying them.
No, as to Dara, yeah, there's no rumor.
No, like there's no. A lot of times you'll hear, especially it'll be like, oh, like Merck is considering buying this biotech name. Who would be interested in a PayPal right now? That's what I want to know. Ultimately, look, the stock has been beaten down so far, but usually I'm just used to hearing like the speculation as to who might be that buyer. Unfortunately, it hasn't really followed through. What I would love to see is this. See that little, well, it's kind of like what do you call that? A pennant? I don't know. Whatever you guys call this. I'm not the charter market technician, but it's like the downward trend into like the flat top, flat support, right? So like in and around 44, it's been trending down into that. You can maybe break back higher, holding VWAP, so I could have drawn a line of VWAP, but like this would be an interesting one if you catch that little bit of a bounce. We're still in the speculation point, but the stock's been so badly beaten up, realistically. Like it's been in absolute free fall for a while. This is a solid breakout. And the breakout has the floor of, hey, there's a chance that somebody could pull the deal. And there was something Sharif was talking about, you wake up and you own this company and boom, all of a sudden it's like 50% higher. I just want to warn, because it happened today with something. Everyone always assumes that if you get bought out that it's going to be a good thing. But like there was, like if the rumor has been around a while and the speculation has been around a while, then it might not be a good thing. So there's this really small cap stock, UHG, which there had been like rumor and speculation and all blah, 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 blah. And it went from like $1 to $2.50 in a few months. And when somebody finally bought it, they bought it for $1.18, and it's down 51%. So you can have some of that happen too. It's more rare. It usually tends to happen with small companies, not large ones, but it is something to note, especially if you're in like some small capper, which has these rumors around it. I mean, if it doubles up, and usually premiums are like 70%, and it's up more than 100% on rumors, it's not a bad idea to ring the register. Thank you for the super chat, JKL. App to reclaim 380 to 385 this afternoon. Your thought? Well, that's your thought, I suppose.
App loving.
I haven't looked at App loving. That had a decent bounce last week.
I mean, these are other names. I just keep on getting hit with with this whole Claudebot thing. I mean, everybody's coming after everyone else's business right now, which is, I think these guys got inducted into the S&P Hall of Fame, the S&P 500 there. So that's interesting to see, how much they've fallen off since their inclusion into the S&P 500. So for me, on AppLovin, I mean, you know what I wanted to do actually. Well, we will get to it because it was a super chat, but before this is this IGV. So here's IGV. This is the software ETF, and I'm going to go over like what's included in this thing. But look at the daily chart on this. So this is IGV. So this is your software ETF, right? This is going to be IGV's ETF software, service software, tech sector. That's what it's called. So this is it on a daily chart. So you're going to go all the way back. This is June of 24. So as if, software is basically at the same point it was back in 24. That's August. There's April of 25. And if you're going to go over, you're going to see nice moves higher, obviously, as we go through the monthly chart and everything like that. You still have a very, very big way to go down on the monthly to get to the 200 period moving average. So I'm not sure this is all completely done, but you're going to get basically 3 straight horrible months to the downside. There's one little green one mixed into there. I don't know what month was that. Maybe December, November, but downside right there, 116 into 76. So this has really been getting crushed, and you go all the way back here, 21 again. So, some nice levels coming in on this, and this is where we are on this name and what exactly is included in it. And again, it's a managed name, so all these percentages, they'll add some spots to it and take some spots away, but here it is right here. So this is the top 10 components that are in the IGF ETF portfolio. So you're gonna have right into here, right? Microsoft. So, we've seen that name here. Let's get, I'm on the pen. Let me get a different, let's get a different color here. Let's get yellow. Here, what color is that? Oh, it's still black? Okay. How is that? I want to customize. Here we go. All right, let's go yellow so we can talk about this. Okay, so, Microsoft, check, like they're getting absolutely crushed right now, right? As we worry about Windows and we worry about, again, some of their spend on CapEx, so maybe they're a little bit different than the rest of them. Palantir, I don't know, they have a foundry that can't really be replicated, so for me, I think that this is a false narrative to the downside. Oracle, we've talked about OpenAI and what's going on with them. Salesforce, one of the biggest problems out there for for software. I mean, people are literally trying to replicate the exact form that they use for relation management software, right? And so that's bad. We saw today Palo Alto and CrowdStrike and Zscaler and all these guys just keep getting hit over and over and over again because apparently these soft bots, these Claude bots, are going to be able to replicate very, very important cybersecurity software. I don't think so. You just gave us AppLovin right there. Don't know much about their business, but I could see that if I know they're in sales for apps and all that kind of stuff, advertising, things like that. With potentially the less use of apps, more people just using some of these large language models and things like that, potentially advertising going to get changed up, right? We know Adobe, Intuit. I mean, these are basically just software companies anyways. Adobe, we talked about Figma and where that's been going. That's been a horrible nightmare. Intuit, I mean, sure, you can get your own taxes and everything like that done, but that's not going to be very long before someone inputs some sort of a tax code or just reverse engineers into it, and then the next thing you know, all of a sudden someone's filing their taxes by themselves. They're not even that hard to file anyways right now. You see CrowdStrike, I mean, yeah. Joe,
no, but they aren't though.
Joe knows.
I don't know why Joe's laughing.
No, because I'll still take 2 months to file them, and that's the thing.
Yeah, but that's not because it's hard.
No, mine, yeah, whatever. I have, when you're running some things. And then you have ServiceNow, as I told you, man. If trading is your primary source of income, you're probably losing. All right, here's ServiceNow right there, and we saw them get hit last week as well. Although I think they had another advertising name, right? So that's kind of the space. To me, it's not just because I am a big Palantir shareholder, not big in my portfolio, not big overall, in considering shareholders, but Palantir, I think, is the one that has a little bit of a moat around it, unlike these other ones. Microsoft obviously has Windows, and we all, I don't need to sit here and talk about Microsoft with their moat, but
Azure is,
most of these other ones.
growth is just fine.
And that's the other thing.
They have that moat. Oh, you want software to sound even worse?
Sure.
We talked last week about there were 3 IPOs that polled last week. 2 out of the 3 of them were software companies.
There you go.
There you go. And just on another note, today there was a SPAC that was supposed to IPO today that didn't. No. That's a first. I mean, the stat I gave last week, there were 21 SPACs, something like that, since beginning. It was over 20 SPACs in the beginning of the year, and 1 actual deal had been done. And now all of a sudden you have IPOs that are pulling the plug, and SPACs that are pulling the plug as well. So, yeah, could be some trouble. There's obviously trouble brewing, no question about that. Mm-hmm. But look, at the end of the day, everyone always talks about the disruption and how things are looking nasty. There's always some upside out there. You have some defense names which have looked pretty decent. As we said, a lot of times when people if you start harping on software companies, then maybe start looking at hardware. Like you start looking at machines, you start looking at hardware. You look at the ASMLs of the world. You look at the Lambs of the world that are doing just fine. You look at Apple with devices, which is doing relatively better as well. So I think a lot of times you can look at the other side of the equation. Only about 15 minutes till power hour. Silver is really not moving.
We just punched up by accident of AMD. I got you. I meant to put in 196 right there. I don't know what I wound up putting in. I must have put in something else. Maybe I put in 96. Who knows? But punched out of AMD there. It's okay. I mean, we're near the lows. We're still waiting for this bid right here. Didn't come in, so all good. I was going to give it to the 200 period moving average, so AMD's right there. And then just so the only trade that I've left on, the only trade on board right now is this TQQ trade, which is an absolute, this is the one from the note, man. 49.50. We wrote it right down. All my trades pretty much are off here, but you can get this at 8 o'clock every day, maybe 8:30. The note of stickiness, and it was short 49.60. We got stopped out early, made another play to come back in, and now holding it. I'm going to use a 200 period moving average right there. I mean, it was only really right there when we broke it that it went up and tried to test view up. I'm not going to give up 50 cents to wait for view up again. So if it does break right there, let's put this in together. 48.16. So again, my stop on this trade was ridiculously low, probably 20 cents or so to make. We're in the money now, $2, but 48. What did I say? Let's just go 16. I think I said that. All right, stopped out of 100%. This is what I did last time and pushed enter and it filled me. Okay, so there we go. So now we have a pending trade. And some of you are asked about stop orders and how do we get out of our trades and things like that. Well, sometimes it's pretty simple. First of all, I made the high of the day right there, so thank you very much for that one. But what happens is I just look for different key areas. I'm just support and resistance, use some of these lines, try to put on big shares and see what winds up happening, right? But that was it. So we went short, we got stopped out. I just picked the level. I think it was breaking of 80s there. So we got stopped out right in that area because, again, our idea was 49.50. It was right here off the open. So I was like, do we do it? Should we do it? And then once we got a little bit of a top there, I went short again. And then that's when it bled to the downside. So finally, we got that short, right? So we're still in it and we're going to wait for that one. And then the AMD trade basically just went from time. We were waiting for it to get to 200. This was on here as well, 200 short, but we didn't want to wait. Once we broke below the 200 period, and we just thought that we saw a little bit of an area here. So my idea was, and the stop, I mean, again, I just changed it and I just punched out, was basically right here, man, a break of 197, 198. Right into this level was going to be my stop. So about 50 cents worth, to get all this action. And I was here when we were covering this, and then we take another out, same spot, and then we've basically taken another out right there. But I did mean to put it here. So, but yeah, so far so good. They're down at 2.5%. Sure, Andre, go ahead, man. I'll read any super chat you got in there. Why are Visa and MasterCard getting crushed? Yeah, I mean, the whole space right now.
Specifically the entire sector.
Yeah, if you're going to go over here and look at, sectors and things like that. I mean, that's a great thank you for the super chat. We'd have to, I mean, I'll right away go to Adara. I mean, Adara, could you maybe find out if there is anything in the credit card space, like Visa's down for just anything specific?
Yeah, I was seeing that this was just being attributed to overall like concerns that AIs like Claude are going to be taking over. So it's just kind of, again, more AI fear trade. I'm not seeing anything specific. Yeah, apparently specifically there's Citrini models AI agents bypassing interchange with stablecoins threatening credit card economics. That's just one headline I saw as of this morning. So again, just like overall kind of AI concerns about credit cards. That's all I'm seeing.
Well, the other thing too is
that would do it.
The XLF did break major support levels. So there's that kind of cascade effect too. Like you might see, because it's I think 8% is one of them, and between Visa and MasterCard, one of them is like 8%, one of the other one's like 9%. Like they're pretty significant in the financial space, and it just could also be technical, right? Like you can have technical weakness in the overall sector, and that's what seems like is happening over here. But okay, so you have the heat map.
Yeah, the heat map right here
right now. And
I mean, I don't remember
3. American Express is 8.
I don't remember the last time American Express down. I mean, this is why I think it's important that we start to discuss some of these things, because American Express down 8%. That's Apple still. Click on this. Should change.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah, so 319 here. I don't know what I'm looking at here, but its next earnings report is in 60 days, so we're out of there right now. It's much more average volume than normal, almost 5 million shares versus 3 million, and we still have an hour to go, which of course is power hour. Visa, MasterCard, AXP, Capital One probably getting pumped as well, wherever COF is. There it is right here, down 7% as well. So yeah, I think that's the whole bypassing sort of that credit card situation is gonna be a problem. I think I get basically 1% to 2% on everything, 4% on some other things. But I use my credit card for absolutely everything. I don't really even use my debit card for anything. I just gather all of that.
One place I use my debit card.
Yeah, I just get all of that bonus points, right? And so if something were to change there with the structure, and then plus you still have Trump talking about 10% as a cap. He was saying like a lot of Americans, and this is the thing that I don't understand.
I've been weighing on it for a while.
Yeah, this is what I don't understand. Like on one hand, his comment was like a lot of Americans don't understand how much they're paying in interest. You should understand how much you're paying in interest. Like I know they give credit cards away to anybody, but at the same time, it's like you just got to look at your statement and see it there.
Of course, that's how it should be.
Right.
But I think the biggest problem with that, and I was fortunate, I remember having a junior high teacher who we actually had an entire month, which was like life skills.
Right.
And it involved talking about things like your bank account, credit cards, interest, and basically just sort of the things that you take for granted. And we're in a world now where basically you had this situation where a bunch of CEOs realized that the second you go from getting a fixed cost, where like people are going to pay me for a product, if I can get them to pay monthly in a subscription service, multiples started exploding. So everyone went to that model. Why? Because the average person doesn't actually go through their line items. And if you ask the person what do they pay in recurring fees, there was some study out there that said it was like 50 to 60% higher than what people are actually, if you ask them what they think they are spending on, and they don't even realize it. And so if you change that or threaten it in any significant way, that's a huge industry. Like that little blind spot in the everyday consumer's monthly expenditures, like if you close that even some, that's a lot of money out there for sure. So it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. So I was just going to say, the problem is in education. That's the problem. I mean, instead of doing all this stuff, why don't we just put more money towards education? And I think that will be something that President Trump should definitely look at. I don't know. We're here in Canada, right? So I don't know what the difference is between our system or their system.
Isn't always the solution.
No, but I think it is for this one. So I think if they can...
I agree. I would agree with you in that you should be... It's more efficient education. It's what's in the curriculum. It's not spending more money. Throwing more money at problems doesn't do anything. Look at any government anywhere, and that's just like a huge misconception. It's more about changing the curriculum to actually
spend more money on researching
focusing
what is required.
Right,
exactly. So spend some cash, get figured out where you're looking at, and I just think put more money and more resources towards financial literacy, and I think that would solve that problem right there as well. So let's go, guys. I feel fortunate enough to not carry a credit card balance, and that's just just luckily been able to do that. So it's a little different for everybody, and I just obviously don't like to pay anything.
The average person.
Yeah, what's up, guy? You know how the game is played. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Not everybody does, my guy. Not everybody
That
does.
is the hard, sad truth is
Teach
that
your kids
is that
what
not
schools
everybody
won't. Yeah, exactly. That's why my kids already know all about the market. They know about financial literacy. My kids are getting taught it. My son is in grade 8 and he gets taught it. So at least here, that's what I'm saying. I can only speak for Canada. It's well improved right now.
Here is way better than it was when we were kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's well improved here.
But I don't know that's. I can't even say that's true outside of Ontario. Like it's. If you talk to people,
we just know. That's what I'm saying. We only know what we know.
Necessarily true.
I know what we know.
Yeah, I confirm. Like, you have someone here from a different province, that being the province of Manitoba. Now, to be clear, I went to like private Catholic school, so it's kind of its own system. Not to get into all the semantics of why that's separate, but we had no financial literacy training that I can recall. And I graduated in 2017, so this is relatively recent.
Well, one of the other things to consider is one of the things that we are, like human beings, are not very well equipped to understand exponential growth. Like we're really bad at that naturally. So that's a concept that you want to ingrain as well. Just understanding how compounding works fundamentally. It's one thing to just teach formula, but you hammer home examples. Like what the example I love to use for my daughter, she's turning 9, is the whole the doubling the penny on the chessboard. It's just something as simple as that. It's very visual, and you realize that once you don't have to get very far to see how out of hand it gets, and then you start to understand. Okay, well then think about if that's how much money you owed somebody, and then interest means that you own more. That's that simple concept alone. It helps you when it comes to investing, and that's for me. Like that's where my dad was very, very much that. Like I remember him doing that problem with me, and when I was literally 8 years old, and it opens up something in your mind that's like, I remember I'm like, I am never going into debt. Like that's how my brain was just wired that way from 8, 9 years old. It's like debt is horrible when you think about interest and compounding, for sure. And no, I don't. Mick just says get her into silver. Well, I understand the whole governments are spending more money, and so you want to have sound assets, and that's why the metals are going to be good. One thing you have to consider is the way that silver has been moving. There's a big difference between, hey, we're going higher because we understand that things have gotten out of whack in terms of government spending and always has been for a while, and so I want something secure, and then just going on a crazy squeeze. And this went on a squeeze where it's still trying to find its way. Right now, silver feels like a trade more than anything else. You could make some arguments that gold has settled down a little bit more than silver has. It still feels very much like a trade. And I say that having owned some silver as well. Oh, who said no debt?
I think you did, but
no, I said I don't like that.
I'm only bringing it up because I don't really consider that. I mean, you got to live somewhere. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, there's don't get me wrong. A mortgage, understanding how to utilize debt in your life is different from saying I will never have debt. For me as a kid, I remember I grew up. I was born in '79, right? So my parents went through the '80s and high mortgage rates, and so I've had those conversations, and I remember having that conversation of 18, 19%, and that was scary to me. So I've always been in this, make sure you can handle any obligations you make. Credit card debt is not a thing I ever want to incur. Try to stay away from reoccurring payments, that kind of, whatever it might be. But against a mortgage, now, I mean, come on, that's just a different, mortgages is a bit of a different ballgame. And of course it's a different conversation you can have because a lot of people will still get themselves in trouble with regards to how, and it's almost impossible to not do that here, in terms of how much of their income is being spent on a mortgage. In Canada, and I know the US is a bit different because you have totally different manner in which mortgages work. You guys lock in for a while. It's every 3 to 5 years here in Canada, you're renegotiating your mortgage. So it is a bit of a different story here. But our affordability rates in Canada are at levels that worse than it was when you guys had the housing crisis. That's how bad things have gotten here. And we got 7% unemployment. And you have so many people that are just completely out of whack. And I saw some of that, people I knew in my neighborhood, where it's if rates adjust up, you renegotiate in 3 years, like you're going to be in trouble. And people were having to sell because of that. So putting yourself in a situation where you understand what your thresholds might be is so, so important, for sure. I just saw Northwestern in the chat there mentioning IREN. I'll get there in a quick second. JL822, I'll be dead honest with you. He's like, how are you so rich in knowledge? I love to read. Like, I straight love to read. If I'm not reading, if I don't have, like in my spare time, if I'm not like, you know, if I'm dad at home and I'm here, I'm trading, I'm reading either, like I love to read articles, I'll listen to any podcast that's interesting to me, just try to absorb knowledge. And I always love reading like even fiction, like I'll always be like reading fiction for myself, like that's my spare time. So it just comes down to that, like just picking up. And then on top of that, like my parents, like my dad was very much, you should always be accumulating knowledge. And it's more about understanding what you don't know. And if you're that kind of a person who's like, I don't know a lot of stuff, and so I'm constantly trying to change that, right? The person that's like, they think they know everything isn't gonna bother trying to learn. Because they're like, well, I know everything and I'm great. Like that person's never actually learning much. But it's someone who understands that they don't know anything. All the smartest people I know understand that they know nothing. That's the most common thing. All the smartest people I know, they're insanely humble. They're the first people to admit when they don't know something. They're the first people to admit when they've made a mistake. And it's the opposite that you don't want to have, in my opinion. But let's go to Adara up at the desk. We have some news.
I mentioned here BAER. I did notice a couple people asking about it in the chat, so I thought I'd bring this up. Bridger Aerospace, there's a headline that came for this like probably 20, 30 minutes ago, and I didn't mention it at the time because volume was really light, and it's still pretty light. Like we're just over about what, like 1 million shares traded right now on this, so pretty late volume here. But they did get a $18.6 million Department of Interior contract for fixed-wing on-call flight services. So Department of Interior contract valued at $18.6 million for BAER, Bridger Aerospace, just to address the people who were asking about this one in our chat. Back to you.
As always, thank you there, Adara. We just hit power hour, but it's been sour for most of the market in here. There's no question about that. Still seeing not much action on silver. Rivian doesn't seem to want to get back to the 15 level. That's where I would have liked to fade. It did just tag 14.9. So there's some lower highs coming in. I might look at something like this. So when it dropped, okay, it's like there's your flat bottom break. There's your kind of consolidation. So that would be a resistance level. And it's been holding a trend from there. So if it can close underneath, there could be like a tight stop short, maybe into the low of the day. Here for Rivian, so that'll be on my watch for sure. If it doesn't get to 15, I might re-engage this one at about 14.88. If it can get up, just put a tight stop in front of 14.9. That gives me at least something to look at. If silver's not going to go, it's not breaking that high anytime soon.
AMD went all the way back down to the downside. Should have. That's too bad. We would have got filled down there, which would have been a little bit better, but unfortunately, we do not have that one. Yeah, we sort of talked about, you know, where this market is, what it looks like, everything like that. I just want to show you, like, today, and if you're joining us for the first time today, thank you so much. We're live every single day at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow's our big release for the Trader TV Live Academy. We're excited for that. ES down 1%, Nasdaq down 1.47%. You know, names that are going to be a problem, if not already, soon enough. IWM, you know, some of these smaller names that really rely on, you know, the introduction of new technologies, they running debt. We talked about that, some of these names right there. If interest rates are not going to get cut, which hopefully with this, you know, recent move down here and some of the threats that have been posted up on the financial system and on other places here, IWM, they down 1.7. This is the worst one, and it was a lot worse earlier, man. This was down to 258, obviously, there at 1 point. So we got to watch out for the IWM. This is the Russell. So, you know, small cap names coming through. Be careful with IWM. And then, you know, just looking over here at what's been going on in the broader markets, you know, it's been bad, man. I mean, crypto's down to 64,000 right now. Bitcoin, 64.2. Wow, holy shit. That keeps on getting lower and lower and lower as well right there. It's not good, man. Google, Meta, Microsoft, like all the MAGs, right? I gave you that ETF a couple weeks ago, MAGs. So if you're going to look at the MAGs ETF, again, has each of them 16% in there, and so no discrimination, no nothing. It's not great. This is what this name looks like here as well. So you're seeing, talk about a rough time. I mean, this has been just really every single move up just waits for a couple of days and whacks it right back down. And we said last week that, okay, the Nasdaq maybe finally starting to get going a little bit there, and then we're now right back to the lows and looking like it wants to break down one more time through these levels. So the Nasdaq not looking very good, might not even hold. This is the megs, but I'm just saying they might not even hold this 200 period moving average. And if they don't hold, then yeah, you could basically say see you later to anything related to the Nasdaq, because these big seven can't hold the whole index, that's for sure. So we're gonna have to wait to see what happens there with the Mag 7. But you know, today, kind of want to be in other spaces, right? Spaces, and again, things you can hold, right? So we're gonna go down to Procter & Gamble and look at, you know, Coke, Pepsi, Clorox, Hershey, tasty treat as well. Nike, you could hold a Nike in your hand, that's for sure. But with tariffs coming and all that, and retail and more worries about what's going on in that space, that goes downside. Lulu downside. We did see a nice move for Walmart today. We'll have to have another look at that. Mondelez, Procter & Gamble right there. And then back over here in the healthcare space, pretty green, right, today. I still think that AI helps, you know, all of these names, you know, creating faster, quicker trials, hopefully, easier to find results.
Well, there's zero question about the faster trial.
Yeah, exactly. So all of that stuff comes into play here with health technology. So really happy to see that one picking up. And then, you know, so I bought some PanW today. That's going to be bad for right now. I don't know what's going to be in the next couple of weeks. But one name that we bought XLE, and XLE has been really pumping. I don't know what it's doing today. It's probably flattish. We can check on oil, but XLE has been great. So even though XOM is up today 2.3%, it's really so strong, XOM. I don't know what the difference is there. CVX only up 0.4. You know, Pioneer, Valero again, down 2%. So there's some names here, Marathon Petroleum down, Occidental up. So you have to pick your winners and losers in that space. And then just over here, a couple winners here. Apple, you know, nice upside surprise there today. We'll see if they can get going on stronger demand in China for iPhone. And then SNDK, I think that continues to work out, right? Good. I think it was an upgrade this morning for SNDK. We have Micron running as well. AMD downside while Nvidia upside, so they're playing Oppo together. And we'll wait to see what Nvidia can do. Nvidia recently deals with Meta and a few different things, helping that stock get going there a bit, Micron and GE. So has Tesla reached a bottom yet? Has any stock reached a bottom yet?
Can't Get Right from the Eddie Murphy movie. Life.
Get right, 929. Okay, yeah. Well, you can't get it right if you've been buying any of these names recently, that's for sure. So it seems like Tesla right now, I said this last week, and I mean, everybody's going to be different, but I thought even last week, you know, into this area was a decent, you know, spot to start your investing journey with Tesla, if you like the stock. I think any 200 period, generally speaking, has been a good spot. So Tesla can have these wild swings, right? I mean, in 2025, we started the year, you know, basically at 444. We went all the way down to 200, then we went all the way back up to 500. So, you know, top to bottom was a great move. You know, top to bottom, that was a great move, then bottom to top. But right now, you're just kind of stuck in the middle of that whole range. So I would say if you're still in shares like I am, I'm not going to be buying more right now at any of these levels. So if you're not in shares, you know, I think if you're thinking about getting involved, I always use this 200 period moving average, since that might be a good spot. And I like Tesla for the long term. To answer the question, has it found a bottom? I mean, we have no idea where bottoms are. Bottoms are zeros. So I don't think they're financially in any trouble. They've lowered their price of their Cybertrucks, even including the Cyberbeast model. They stopped making the less profitable models, the X and the S, to focus on something that should be relatively profitable once they start rolling out Optimus and more robotic things. So I think the SaaS model will work, easy day for Tesla. They just got to get it going, you know. So yeah, pretty soon, robo-taxis, full self-drive, all of that. I can wrap my head around why Tesla, you know, hasn't found a bottom, but there's still so much more to go, I think, in this move. The Nasdaq's not even really down that much. It's just individual stocks that are really getting pumped. Hey, look, 3 months ago, we're at all-time highs for Tesla. So, you know, this is a very rapidly changing space, that's for sure.
And even then, you pull up like a weekly or a monthly of Tesla. I find like sometimes whenever you get a lot of questions like, is this a bottom or is this stock a good buy? Like, it tends to be because things are pulling back a little bit. That's exactly when you want to go from like a weekly out to maybe even a monthly chart. Like if you look at the monthly chart on Tesla, Like if it were to just simply hold the dips that it was before, I'm not going to bother with trend line. You can just sort of eyeball this trend line in here, and it would be somewhere between 275 and 300. And if you just go back to like the biggest pullback was, we went 400 down to like $100, right? So that's the most recent, its biggest recent drawdown. And then look at the higher lows it put in. That could pull back into 280, 300 and still be in that uptrend. So you start to think about, okay, so this could pull back 25% and be maintaining an uptrend on the monthly chart. That's Tesla. So to be able to predict where the bottoms might be, like, I don't know, if you like them, then you'd want to buy into that, right? But understanding that if it went lower, that's a reasonable long-term dip for Tesla. If it's got a trend on the monthly chart, I'm all about, if I like the stock and I wouldn't buy it on a monthly trend line, then I don't like the stock. That's the way I would look at it, at least.
All right, everybody, in the world of gold and silver, volatility isn't necessarily a hurdle. It's an opportunity, but harnessing it requires the right tools. Beta Pro by Global X delivers that edge. As Canada's first and longest running suite of levered, inverse, and inverse levered ETFs, Beta Pro provides a decisive way to engage with metal markets through their 2x daily bull and 2x daily bear exposure. These funds are built for the precision and momentum the modern markets demand. These are designed for sophisticated Canadian day traders who understand the risks of leverage and the power of tactical response. Beta Pro provides the agility to navigate market moves in either direction. Don't just follow the gold and silver markets, position yourself for what's next. Discover the suite at betapro.ca. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment of the show, of course. All right, so it's too bad that we didn't trade that Tesla through that $400 mark. I mean, thank you so much for the super chats. And again, thank you so much to Repress here in our chat for just dropping these super chats. So, these memberships. I mean, like 40 memberships is great, man. Like they're $5 each. That's a really great opportunity for everybody to get involved, get Sharif's morning note, and be included with everything in the chat. So we want to thank Repress for all of that. It means a lot, and it's very, very special, the kind of relationship that we're trying to build with everybody out there, right? So I was looking at 400. Like to me, see, that's a missed opportunity right there because you might want to say, okay, does 400 going to hold? Is it going to hold? And when it doesn't, it's just woo all the way down there to 397. So breaking key levels very, very important, especially when it's the very first time. So like that's a big thing to notice if you're trading and you're looking at something, you're like, okay, what's gonna happen if and when it breaks that level? It's kind of like this Robinhood area. I don't know if it's gonna happen today, but this is a stock that I wanna think about for tomorrow because this is a big, big break right in there, 70. Like we've touched it a couple times, it come down to $70.40. Now, I don't think this break will even be available. I think if the Nasdaq gets hit again tomorrow or we come in and it's not looking great, and crypto is below 60,000. I believe that could be something that happens here tonight or into tomorrow. Robinhood won't even be near 70, probably 64, 65. Just hearing something about the FTC there. I don't know if that was something to do with Netflix or whatever. Let me see. No, okay, so I'm not seeing anything there. But yeah, if Robinhood breaks down, that's gonna be a crazy level to watch out for, that $70 mark. So I think that is really, really something to look out for tomorrow or even for today. I mean, I don't think Robinhood gets there today, but it's 312. Anything could happen, especially if this market breaks down. We still are short the Nasdaq, and I think this could also be another good short break. 47.65 into the low of the day. We'll see if we make new lows getting into the close. So that's kind of what we're waiting for myself. Nvidia, that was a good out, right? I mean, we took the out there, it broke the 200 period moving average. We're completely fine with that. That's what we wanted to do. We did not reverse into the short. Why? Because Nvidia's up today. And I don't want to short something that's strong. In case this market reverses, we know which way this is going to go. So that's why we picked on AMD. And did we ever pick on AMD? AMD is a big stock today, and we only have one trade. It was right there underneath the 200 period. It gave us some nice outs underneath the 200 period, broke through VWAP, and that's all she wrote for that one. As we go to the downside, Murder, she wrote Angela Lansbury, shout out there. We'll see if we can break 194. I got you, Adara. Oh, cool. 194.50 on the breakdown. That's, again, another trade. Like we're looking like we want to break lower here on advanced micro devices. So I say maybe we just take this thing. On the 1 minute chart, we got to give this back up to 195 if we're gonna do that. So I'm pretty confident in doing that. So why don't we wait and see, put on a small little one here. If it breaks through 194.50, we get the short. That is, I mean, we have 194.15 as the low. I guess that's it right there. I'm fine with just using sort of this local bottom right there and see if we can hold it. For now, it looks like it's doing it, 194.50. The better short, obviously, as we zoom in, would be right here. It's why we have the 50-period moving average written down or marked down, and then there's the 25 period, so half. So 25.50, 2 bills. That's what we're talking about right into there. So I like AMD breaking right there, 194.50. Let's see if we can continue that move down, and we'll follow this and see if we get a nice little trade to the downside here in advanced micro devices. It can get a lot nastier than where we are right now. So 194.50 break. I'm going to try a short there on AMD.
Yes, sir. And speaking of getting back into the lows, we did get that little trend follow. There it is. I can redraw that trend line on Rivian, so short in front of the trend line, and then it's right back into the low of the day. So if it forms a trend, short the pops. At least that's what we're seeing now. I'm going to try to hold through the low of the day. If we bounce off the low of the day, then we'll re-engage at the trend line, which of course, because it's downward sloping, means the order has to move to get that fill. I'm not going to lie. When you said Murder, She Wrote, I wasn't thinking Angela Lansbury. I'm like Shakademus and Pliers.
Yeah.
You know.
That's okay.
Dara likes it too. Good song. But again, dating myself, tells you exactly how old we are. And I know my mic had issues, so just a little patented trick. Hopefully it is fixed. You guys let us know if it is sounding better. IBM continues to fall, by the way, and new fresh bottom. And it tried to bounce several times here in the high 220s, like high 228 it looks like, was trying to hold there on IBM, not doing a very good job of it. No, I wanted the daily chart for IBM. Like you're through the August lows. You are now, let's be real, you're now starting to think about tariff tantrum lows. And any stock where you're talking about the tariff tantrum lows, that's a stock in distress. Like it's in distress if it's back at those levels because the market is nowhere, you know, not that you guys shouldn't be telling anybody anything they don't already know. Low chart. When you look at the Q in the same time frame, like we're nowhere near, absolutely nowhere near some of those tariff lows ultimately. So if you are sitting there getting to those distressed levels, you're in a, like I said, in a world of hurt. But Rivian was the only new trade for me. Well, actually, Bitcoin just broke the low of the day as well, so that's starting to look pretty bad. And silver, eventually, you know, we went Rivian short, but silver did make a small move up to retest the high of the day. Just failed the break of the high of the day. Actually double tapped its high and starting to pull back. So it looks like silver is still on the upward swing for now. It's been silver and gold and not a heck of a lot of anything else that's been that strong today.
Yeah, silver's been awesome. Good trading today for silver. I got that. That was a good trade. All right, so we have a new position right now, long Nvidia. I've actually canceled my AMD short for now. I'm just going to see if this holds 190. That's all. Again, we talked about key level. We came back in right there, sort of held it. I'm not going to wait for, again, a 70 print. It's just we're down here to 190. It's the 200-period moving average. We've kind of like really absorbed that right there. And I'm just going to see. It's a little different on my chart here for E-signal, so I'm going to use it like as it is right here, right now for Nvidia. So it's getting close to that 190 marker. So your boy's going to go long on a stock that we absolutely have crushed. Like this is going to be, even though it doesn't look like, well, I guess it does look like a pretty big trade, but this is, you know, that's what we did last time there. So we went long down there, got some nice bumps up, and you know, as they say, the rest is apparently history. So we're going to have to wait on that one. And here goes Nvidia. Hopefully it can go back up to the upside. So maybe I can give you another banger right now. We'll see. Put some offers, maybe, I don't know, maybe at 50. The 50 is the 200 period, actually, or the 50 period. So bouncing off there. What was that high? Oh, literally 52. Okay. And then right into their 60s. Again, going long in a market that's absolutely crushed, we got to take some out if we're going to be right, because this one, I'm going to try to get a little bit more down here in the 20s. So a pretty light position right now, but to scalp it out, get a cup of coffee, fine, we'll do that. And then we'll wait to see if we can get a bigger move, obviously, to the north side of this trade, especially if the market wants to go. And that's why I kind of canceled it right there. I saw Nvidia at a pretty key level. I saw the market doing this. We can change our TQQ fill actually right now. There it is. We get some out on Nvidia right there. So we'll ride the bulls back in. And as you guys know, man, traders, like, you know, here putting on some positions, and hopefully you can see what's going on. We only have one losing trade today. We have the Google trade where we got in and out of that one. Whoopsies, right here, real quick, but still lost some money on that, obviously. As I really thought coming into, it was right into here for Google, into there, right here. No, that's 11 o'clock. It must have been earlier. Oh yeah, right here. Into the 50 period that was going to hold, but it does not on a longer time frame, and just gave it all up right there. So, all right, just go back on the TQs. We were still going to use some of the, this as my out. Where do I have it still? 48. Yeah, I have a 48.16. Still kind of the same thing. Maybe we can even go over here. If I think Nvidia has a chance to run, let's just use 48 as an out. Nvidia's going, by the way, so hopefully you guys are able to follow on that one. All right, so there it is. We'll get out on that one, and then we'll see. Now it's 20 cents in the money. We took another out. I'll take another one if we can get 57s again, and there it is. We get it again. So there it is, man. 17 cents on Nvidia. It is what it is for now. What's up, Adara?
Comments coming from House Speaker Mike Johnson on tariffs, and kind of interesting here. They have to do with tariff refunds, possibly. What's happening here is Speaker Johnson saying that the Trump administration should not rush to refund that $134 billion in tariff proceeds following the Supreme Court ruling. Johnson also called the situation, quote, unprecedented, and said he believes the White House will handle it. Unclear how they'll be handling it, but either way, here, keep an eye on the market with this in mind. Furthermore, kind of a vague headline, but I think definitely one to watch, especially with the likes of NFLX. Reportedly, a senior DOJ or Department of Justice official saying that the FTC and the DOJ are going to be opening an inquiry to consider new guidance on collaboration among competitors. It does not mention any specific merger or, I guess, competitor alliance, but I think certainly one to keep an eye on would be that Netflix and Warner Brothers collaboration. Back to you.
Yeah, that's been a little bit quiet today. Usually, like all last week, it was like, yeah, you'd hear a little bit of news on that deal, whether it will or not. Well, what we certainly haven't heard is anything regarding Paramount upping their bid. Outside of that 25-cent ticket thing that they added to the $30, they've done nothing substantial. They were given, it was like 7 days to consider their bid, and we've heard nothing positive about it. So it's starting to run out of time. In my opinion, like to be able to get Warner Brothers at like $29 here, like it's still at that 29. Like you are, like this was the bounce. But 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 5 sessions now and still nothing. The closer we get to, like that 7 days, I do feel like this could come back down and just start trading on the Netflix bid, which is significantly lower. It's at least like 5% lower than here, so or 3.5%, 4% lower. Really. So I'm really starting to think that it gets less likely every single day, and the 29 seller on this has been pretty right for quite some time. Netflix, yuck. I'll tell you.
Yes, I mean.
Oh, sorry. This is not a split adjusted chart.
18 worse and worse.
No, Obi hadn't looked at it, and I was messaging him. Did you see where Netflix is today? Because he'd been talking about it getting to the 75. He was like, oh, it finally got to 75, and I guess I don't know. Maybe he wanted to buy it down there. As someone who owns Netflix, I don't know. Like, I'm not like, yay, Netflix is at 75. No, that's not how I'm thinking about it, but that's certainly, it certainly got to that level. Netflix on a weekly chart, it has been utter disaster. Like, there's a couple of green weeks in there. Neither one of them have done any dent in like the prior red week, right? So it can't even have like a half engulfing green candle. Like, this is a pretty distinct downtrend. It's showing zero signs. I mean, zero signs of abating in even a small way. So, looking pretty nasty. I thought that it would be a good thing the longer that you got away from this potential, hey, they could raise the bid, and they haven't. So you think every day that they don't raise their bid would be good, when there was speculation last week that they had plenty of money to do so. But they're also getting tarnished for some that are saying it's the whole woke thing. And that just doesn't help either.
Netflix woke about something?
Well, some of the contention is that a lot of their kids programming is woke. Like that has been a topic recently. It's not about whether I agree with it or not, but it has been weighing on the stock a little bit too. So we have that aspect of it going in, and we've seen stocks get beaten up for a while. The good news is whenever you break that kind of a trend, there tends to be some explosive upside. Like things tend to get.
Yeah, and if you have some of that chicken, you might have some explosive downside today. Okay, so here it is. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, it is really, really getting wax on, wax off right now, man. I mean, this is, getting crushed to that downside. And this is sort of what we drew earlier today. We've now broken back down through. Right now, getting into these levels is a problem, breaking through 64,000 and now getting lower. So watch out here. Bitcoin, very, very vulnerable to potentially break. I feel like tomorrow morning at this time, this has a 5 handle on it. So just be careful, like into these 50, 55 areas. You know, like everybody was actually, there's so many traders I would imagine that are trapped up here. It's crazy. So like this could really, really flush. I feel like a lot of this, you know, consolidation trapped more traders, buying more in there, boom to the downside, trapped again. I recently bought some at 66 and, you know, now you're fading out and you're going to have to look for, this is 55. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to 55 tomorrow on BTC. Give me 10% down on Bitcoin on the bingo card for tomorrow. You know, maybe not 55, but whatever, into this area anyways. Between 58 to 55, I could really see that. So I'm taking 10% down on the card for tomorrow for BTC. So just be careful, man. I mean, this is not over yet. It's not even close. If you want to look at, because remember, Bitcoin's sort of lost its way a little bit here, right? I mean, with all this economic and global problems that we're having right now, the run should have been on Bitcoin, not the other way around. People are selling down Bitcoin. That's so right now, I'm just a little nervous about where this is. I didn't draw these. I'm just a little nervous about, oh, that's the same one. I don't know if it got extended. I don't know what these lines are. How do I, oh, there it is. That's how I get rid of them. Delete and delete right there. But yeah, you're getting way lower here. This is a 15-minute chart. So, you know, we're getting ready to go. That yesterday, oh, that's not yesterday, obviously. February 5th is showing. Yeah, we did get down to 60,000. So I guess we got to test that first before I start saying like, you know, Bitcoin's going to go to 50,
there was an overnight,
56. Yeah, that was back in the day. That was way back in the day, you know, 20 days ago or so, where that went to the downside.
Remember the good old days when Bitcoin was?
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. It was $1. We talked about that last week, or maybe it was 15 years ago. Here's Nvidia. So nice move, man. We did it again, guys. So let's go, man. We talked about this. There it goes. Another one we gave to you. You know, it's been a really, really profitable day. We've really changed up the way we're looking at stocks and trading them. So it's been big, and I feel like it's been a big start to the year. We're going to have even bigger moments moving forward. So, you know, good trading here on Nvidia. Just took that to the upside there. So bought it off that 190 and completely switched it up, right? Have that ability as a trader. We were looking at AMD, and I was like looking for the short, but then boom, popped up was Nvidia, came through on the scanner right there at 190. We liked that level. We marked that level down, and so we're not worried about this break short there on AMD. Although maybe the AMD break short is still in. Like the market making that move up, and AMD just sort of waxed itself back down nicely right there. Meanwhile, my guy over here, Nvidia, I'm offering 77s, and that's what we're talking about. The cash cow is right there. That's a good trade, man. That's a good one to come through there on NVDA. So, yeah, no trades, no problem. We found a couple good ones, and that's it right there with NVIDIA. Now 40 cents in, and we'll take some more out. And just for you out there, Big Scalp, what up, Big Scalp? You gave me the point of control you mentioned was at 191. So we'll wait, see if we can get some more upside there for NVIDIA. Out of just over half right now as, you know, really starting to make a little bit of money there on NVIDIA, which is nice. So we still, remember, we're going to get stopped out of our queues if and when it breaks 48. So that's momentarily a position of mine. And I think that's going to come out. Let's see if the Nasdaq wants to battle back just a little bit here today. 64.1, okay. Interesting to see what happens with Bitcoin starting this week, man. I think it's going to be a fun one.
We just had, it was a good comment. Did we get it up there? It's from Ian Gantner in the chat. You should consider the possibility that the money that went into Bitcoin when ETFs opened and pensions got in won't ever come back if it drops much lower than the price when those ETFs opened. That's a good point. It's a fair point. Like, there's not everyone in the world is all this HODL nonsense. A lot of the new money that would have come in is of that same mind. When something that I own gets broken, you can jump out of it. Now, that's not been the mentality for a lot of people that have been in Bitcoin for a while, but a lot of new entrants, they would get the heck out of Dodge. I remember having to talk my dad out of, at a point at which I actually really liked Bitcoin, and he was like, well, should I buy it when it's making this break? And I said, well, it could go up, but like, Pops, you're like, what's the point? Like, you're retired. Right, you're not sitting there trying to go 3x on something. Like, you're just preserving your capital. No, he's not that. It was just like the whole. like it was more along like, so remember when it was at 20,000 breakout and it was like that classic top and so everybody was talking about it after the fact when it was starting to go after that. And I'm like, everyone and their mother's talking about it, but that doesn't mean it's going to be right for everybody. I'm like, sure, it could go triple or quadruple, but if it goes to zero, how would you feel about that? And he's like, well, I don't need that to happen. Well, then what do you care? You're retired and you're chilling. Like that kind of growth and that kind of risk is not for absolutely everybody. Just very quickly, some early looks. It was there a second ago. Okay, it's actually paired off. SOXS was actually 3 million. It's already down to 700,000. So only ZSL, that's going to be the inverse SLV ETF. So that actually just showed up, and that's just popping around here. So some of the ETFs will pop in and out and don't mean anything. It's really only NCLH at 1 million shares to the sell side. That's an individual stock that matters. And then, of course, PCG is like probably really cheap right now, like 18 bucks. We see that one all the time. 1.8 million to the buy side, pretty insignificant. AT&T, 1.3 million on the early Excel. So there's nothing incredibly interesting just yet on the locator. So still waiting for the move down in Rivian. Like, obviously a bit of a different stock. Went 85 down to 75, so we'll be happy. But I want this at the absolute low of the day. I'm going to reload it if we get the chance. Risk on this about 3 or 4 pennies, so we get down to that low at 15, and that's what we'll look to take as it continues its trend to the downside. Yeah, don't like them at all.
No, Rivian beat up. That's for sure. Randy will get his wish soon at 10 bucks.
I thought you were getting a Rivian.
Some more Rivian. Oh, I'm getting a Rivian. Yeah, but I'm not buying more stock. All right, so Nvidia right now, 191 right there. You know, boom, like just amazing. Nice move to the upside here, 52 cents. So shout out to you, Big Scalp. Right there, we cooking up some winners on NVDA. Yeah, there it is. Hey, I can't really show this. There, this is what happens when you become a member. You know, you can get these little fun emojis, right? Hey, what's up, Big Scalp? Coming through as well. Okay, reversal on the QQQs. Good job there. MP. Oh, yeah, here. Let's go over and see what stocks you guys potentially want us to look at real quickly here. We'll go over into our stock visualizer. Where's my guy, the Chilean Nightmare? I haven't seen him today. Is he not here?
He's not in today.
He's not in today. Okay, well, that's probably why I haven't seen him. All right, so SLV. We nailed SLV. We were long SLV today. So we'll go face slapper on that one, and that was a good idea for SLV. Written here, long silver. We actually had silver long. But don't have it now, of course, as it's at the highs. Netflix, okay, Amazon I think is cooked. We'll wait for Amazon. Not that the stock is cooked, but just like in general, a little worried. Bye-bye. Nvidia right now, almost $1 in right there. What up, Big Scalp? One more time. Big Perm. 195.83. ALUR, I don't know. We can have a quick look at that one as well. That's up 61%. SGN for the small cap side traders on this side there. That's up 58. Wow. Okay. I can do this later, man. I mean, traders got to trade, and I got to trade. So right there. There it goes, man. Was not expecting this one. It's Nvidia. There it goes, man. Gimme, gimme, gimme those 17s, because there it goes. We just put this on for you guys. I hope we discussed it enough for you. Talked about that 190. You know, we give ourselves a little bit of room down there to 190. It blasts higher, and there it goes. Market go boom. Changed up our opinion, man. We were obviously thinking about shorting AMD. We switch it up. Sometimes you got to use this little noggin up here. Nice move there for NVDA. What up, Miss A?
What's up here is a look at these earnings moves before the bell tonight. Sorry, after the bell tonight and before the bell tomorrow. This is our TTV research earnings preview specifically for these implied earnings. So tonight at 4 p.m., Kratos and Diamondback Energy. 4:05 p.m., we get Hims and Hers, HIMS, as well as Keysight Technologies. Hims and Hers, there will be some earnings preview data coming, or infographics rather, coming out ahead of that report. So stay tuned on X at TTV research heading into 4 p.m. and 4:05 p.m. Tomorrow morning, you've got Home Depot, Planet Fitness, NRG, and Cypher Mining. Again, you can get a whole list of this on X at TTV Research. I also want to let you know, keep an eye here on this market as Politico reports that House Speaker Mike Johnson has said that Congress is unlikely to codify Trump's 15% global tariffs. Back to you.
Well, I mean, look, the tariff headlines are not going anywhere. Let's be real. Where they settle and whether or not there's any payback is going to be an ongoing story for the next short run at least. Hims, my goodness, that is easily, I get it, there's no big cap, crazy earnings names. Tomorrow morning we'll get Home Depot. That'll be of interest to some people. Certainly, it's a good bellwether, and you know, whether you, I mean, if you own some retail stocks, like that should actually be an interesting name. But Hims, in terms of just pure volatility, 16% expected move. this has been going consolidation down for the last couple of weeks, week and a half at least. Like, it's looking pretty nasty down here for him. But what's good about this is it's coiled. The news has been all bad. Them and their dust up with Novo is the reason why we're down here. And one thing that's been true, every single pop has been almost instantly reverted. The second this actually holds above a prior resistance level, you get some squeeze possibilities. But it hasn't been doing that. It's like pop, you get to a resistance spot, can't hold, dump. The second it shows that it can hold, then maybe some shorts are going to start covering in HIMS because they're so deep in the money. At this point, they got to start looking for exit strategies on HIMS and HERS. Not that I want to go long this stock. I think there's a trade, but I don't think that's a stock I'd ever want to own. You can own Eli Lilly, man. Everyone wants to be like, oh, HIMS is going to have they got the discount and the GLP, boom, let's go. And that's the reason why they're in this trouble. Let's be real.
All right, thank you, Thanos. We talked about the one ring to rule them all. Another excellent trading day, bro. Lots of love from the UK, man. Shouts right back at you right there. Love the UK. What's up to Adam DeLuz as well. And there it is, man. 1.06 right there. It's
another one.
And maybe we'll be able to.
Another one.
And then I'll pass it to Neil for.
Another one.
And so right there, man, huge. So boom, goes the dynamite right there on Nvidia. Nothing but love to the upside for Nvidia. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for your patience with me as we continue to watch out for this market. And what a great day it's been. Oh, by the way, here we go. We have another one. We'll drop down some money because we go wee-hoo for the TQQs. And there it goes, man. We get out of that position right there, breaking through 48. Looks like a decent stop, man. We'll take that all day, every day. That's about $1.60 or more on that one right there. You want me to look at Tesla, dog in this fight? All right, let's go have a look at this one as well. TSLA, yeah, so 400. I mean, I like the 400 break long again. We talked about like key levels breaking down, and 400 right there just came and went real quick. It saw 400 and didn't even think about it and just broke right down. I guess it came to $400.50 and then bounced about $1, and then once 400 came, it just went whoops. So I could see that being a thing here. It was only 25 minutes left right now. Time is definitely not necessarily on our side here. All right, I have about 20% left. I'm gonna get a little less than that. We'll offer some 24s here. Oh, we miss it. Oh, now we're gonna get it. Now we're gonna get it. Now we're gonna get it. There we go, we get it. On Nvidia as it goes through 24. So we grab that price now, and we get a little lighter on that trade. Just still trying to run through my scanner here. Look, Nvidia, Mara, Nvidia. That's it. So nothing hitting right now on ye old scanner. On the trade rate, these are stocks that are moving around.
Top.
Yeah, right now. So SPY, Tesla, Qs, Nvidia, Sand, that's not gonna do anything. SOX, L, VBIL, nah. Silver right there, we love some silver, man, $80 now. Wow, absolutely rocking. And this was, again, something that we talked about earlier, and we just gotta sort of sometimes stick with the overall thought that we had early, and that was going silver long, and we talked about why we liked it. It was the #1 trade there today was to go long. I wrote down those prices. I mean, when I'm in here at 7:30, 8 o'clock and thinking about some of these prices, they're just, I don't know if they're gonna come in, and they don't. But instead we go long silver right here at 78.50. And then unfortunately it lost the last bid right there and we get stopped out. But silver obviously a net positive day here as we watch out where it's going. But silver downside, I don't think so. Upside today. This is what Bitcoin should be doing. Instead Bitcoin's going the other way. So silver up, gold right now as well. Up, I wasn't sure what it was going to be, how much, but up 2.5%, so that's good, man. We've not recently, but we added some gold to the portfolio, and then, the big commodity that I'm looking for in my portfolio is XLE. So we've added to that as well recently. We really like some XLE love.
I think one of the reasons you were looking at XOM versus Chevron.
I just looked at it, yeah. I was like,
and there was
2.5%.
And the only thing I could come up with, I couldn't think of an actual reason why Chevron was lower. But actually, let me just quickly show you guys, because we got out when the trend line broke here. So short under the trend, it goes to the low of the day. Get out when it breaks the trend line. Rivian to me is still under $15. So getting out of it right now is more of a sentiment thing. That headline from Madera kind of shifted things, so things might break that trend down. And if you were short, you might want to be jumping out. But just going back to that discussion between Chevron and XOM, I think it just has something to do with, like, Chevron got the bigger bounce off the Venezuela news because they're already down there. and so was just chilling out at the highs. So when XOM is catching another, a better day today, it's actually 2.5%. And when it's catching a bit of a better move, it's just pulled back a little further from the highs. Not much, but there was just a little bit more weakness the last 2 weeks for XOM than there was in Chevron, but they're both absolute rocket ships. Like the energy trade has been really good. Oh shoot, that's right. You know what? I got to slap a fail on myself because we're looking at that Oxy breakout last week and only traded it 1 day. Granted, I think the follow-up day wasn't even that good. But Occidental, this is also a breakaway continuation play. Oxy hasn't been any good at all in the energy space, relatively speaking. Let me just go to a weekly chart. That'll show you a little bit better. So XOM, obviously you could look at XLE, you could look at a bunch of different names space. And I understand Oxy is not a pure oil play, obviously, as well. But it has been languishing on the weekly chart and only now breaking out. On a weekly, this is just breaking out over 50, and we've got plenty of room to still rally. So I'm going to put that one on the iPad tomorrow for some continuation. It's been under some pressure. Like this was one that used to have that Buffett, I don't know what I call it, you call it like the Buffett support or whatever. The Buffett buy, I think I was calling it. I don't know what it was actually called, but since Berkshire got away from that, it's been having trouble finding its way. This is in a real breakout, and since earnings, it's holding that 50 break. I think if you get above 53, which it barely did today, there's another leg in this back into that key 55, 56 level, which that's where the Buffett buy was. It was in the 55, 56 support. So I think that could turn into resistance, but that does lead me to Occidental tomorrow. It'd be better if it was closing on some strength. The only thing I don't like here is it's actually going to end up closing right back where we opened, and so it's not really holding on to a lot of those gains. But I still like that. And just to be clear, Nick, the prior Buffett support levels, the whole point was that when they stopped, just consistently buying them, it was like you couldn't go with 13F without Berkshire buying Oxy. And then the second that stopped, it just kind of lost a bid and lost favor within the group. And it's starting to look a little bit better now on the daily chart, on the weekly chart as well. But I only traded it the 1 day. It was the day after the earnings, and then it just kind of faded away. Forgot all about it today, and that's about as clean of a break that you can get. This is why I'm sort of saying should not have ignored it. Look at how clean the double top break was here at 52.25 on Oxy. Earnings, break up, consolidate, break out. That's a pretty standard day 2 or day 3 play, Adara.
Beware here, American Airlines commenting with some flight announcements after, of course, we did have some closures or pausing of flights with the storm. American Airlines saying that they've already resumed operations at Philly International Airport, FHL. Operations at LaGuardia and JFK over in New York expected to resume late Tuesday morning, and operations at the Boston Logan International Airport, or BOS, also expected to resume late Tuesday morning. So AAL basically saying they're already up and running in Philly, going to be up and running in New York and Boston as of late tomorrow morning. Back to you.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Nice to see that. I don't know if that has anything to do. We talked about maybe being some lighter volume. I can check out what the volume is doing here for sure today. I just wanted to go over this quickly. We have Citigroup as a nice sell side imbalance, 4 million shares. What am I talking about? 4 million share imbalance there for Citigroup. So we'll have to wait to see buy for BAC, sell for gold, GDX, buy for BMNR into the close as well. And remember, all of these names will come out at 340, 350, and we'll be able to see the Nasdaq as well. So right now, just Amex ZSL is a sell. That's silver. That's a buy, but that means a sell in silver there. Alibaba might be a name to look at there, and IBM. For some reason, someone's trying to buy this one right at the close as well. Get a decent price right there.
Be a short cover.
Yeah, it could be anything, or just trying to buy into tomorrow's. Wow, IBM down 13%. Oh boy, that's getting a lot worse than I had thought. Let me just check on CrowdStrike and Palo Alto. I did not buy, obviously. I just want to check on CrowdStrike first. Okay, down 11%. Okay, well, it was worse earlier, so that's good. At least it's not making those moves down. Did PayPal finally break that little shelf that it was on as well? Yeah, so PayPal breaks that VWAP shelf, and that would have been a good one, $44 into $43.50. So that's a level there to watch out for, maybe on PayPal, potentially being looked at by another suitor. We'll see what the legitimacy of that story is. Maybe tomorrow something will come out. Could be... again, venture capitalist or something like that coming through.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be. Everyone always says, "Oh, what company would buy them?" It could easily. It could be like an activist.
Yep, I would think that's what it needs.
That makes more sense.
Okay, so just real quickly, man, let's go bang, 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 because we're now out. So we now have less than 10% left, 5% left to be exact, as we nailed this Nvidia trade, man. I mean, right up to 91.40, a couple outs up there. We talked about we had 20% left, a couple outs, out when it breaks through 191, and right now I might just, if it takes that 50 period, right there, we might just get at 190.60. Let's just do that. Stop out right now. Unfortunately, we'll have nothing left on board, but that's what it is. So 190.59, we'll stop out if it breaks that down below that one of our last 5%. Call it a big dub right there. And maybe not a chicken dinner winner. Maybe we'll be able to see some Max in his Lambo, and we'll see if that comes out. Wow, man, Gia's getting a lot more hockey games thrown into the schedule right here. She'll play over 60, before these games, it was like 68 games or so this year alone. And, hopefully that'll be coming, ending soon. And then she has summer. And
4 times as many games as Anthony Davis.
Yeah, exactly.
He's hurt again.
There.
Actually,
right. Is he hurt again? Yeah.
I don't know, someone said it in the chat. I was like, well, I didn't even bother checking to see if it was true. I just assumed that it was true.
Yeah, probably.
But his consistency is impressive.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most reliable things out there. Is that he's going to miss time. Let's just be real. We have Easy Peasy always paying his dues. It's not really dues. It's just a donation. $2, 0.2. Good call on the short this AM to Sean. You went long and lost. There was a lot of things weak this morning. But you know what? You got to trade your Easy Peasy. You've been doing well. You got to trade your own. You got to trade your own styles. As long as you got outs, and as long as if you've been making more than that, then that's what ends up mattering. Like just make sure that your down days ain't bigger than your up days, and then move on to the next. There's always tomorrow, and there's always the next available trade. But that's only true if you don't blow up an account, right? So as long as you manage to manage the losses, then that'll be an important thing. I got eyeballs on that city that you just mentioned on the locator, but it's now gone. So that early 4 million buy that we just saw on Citigroup, I'm no longer seeing it with 5 minutes to go. So that might be a bit of a nothing burger. It's like the second stock to do exactly that. Where I saw it on the locator as a big buy or sell, and then all of a sudden is gone. What are we doing? Ramin is like over here, like examining my trading setup. It's like, ooh, what's going on? She's just like touching everything just to see what's going on. It could just be my microphone though. I saw Micron apparently is breaking out. Let's be real. Micron's not having a good day today. You could make the argument that it's only down what the Nasdaq is down. That's true, but I think you should put it in the context of what SanDisk did today, which even with this pullback, it's still up 3%. So in a relative sense, it hasn't been that good of a day for Micron. And even on that trend, look at it hold underneath the volume weighted average price. Like it really was respecting VWAP. This is now the second day in a row where outside of a big candle, it just has this weird barcoding going on. Like someone is very much in control of the stock. And it just bounces back and forth within a range for most of the day. How many days has it been doing this? Really, it's just the last 2. Well, you get one big opening candle, and then it just goes back and forth and back and forth. If it does that enough, you sort of scalp inside the range if you can get it. It's less than 1% inside of that range. And just because I see it there from Weeping Leader, what do we think of SoFi? Not the first time that we're going to get into this today. If you've looked at anything within the financial space, you've probably noticed that it sucked to be in the financial space today. Whether it's the banks, whether it's fintech, Robinhood, SoFi, whether you're talking even specific, well, I mean, PayPal's up, but then again, they had that deal talk. The XLF is not looking good. We saw Visa and MasterCard down 4 or 5% as well. So SoFi is down pretty much what a bunch of other things are. But what makes it worse is it lost some major support today under 19. Actually touched $17.50. This just feels like a technical breakdown in SoFi that's being exacerbated by what's going on in the overall sector. Like, have a look at the XLF. The XLF looks real bad today. Trending down from the high, broke major support. This feels like a short till it's not as well. But I think expressing the trade, SoFi is probably the one to go. It's just going to move it to the downside faster than everything else. unfortunately. I own SoFi, man. I'm not happy about it either. I wish I'd sold more at the top, but I didn't, and that's part of life. I'm not even thinking about buying this thing. It might get down into the low teens based on that daily chart. Yuck.
Yeah, not good over there for SoFi. All right, look, guys, I mean, let's take advantage of this right here, right now. Right here, right now. Nice move up there for Nvidia, man. I mean, it just bounced literally off of where we were going to get stopped out. So we just missed that 10. We might as well just put another, well, here, maybe we'll get let's get it now. We'll get an 8 there as it just pumps right back up. So all good on that last 5%. Now we have 2.5% left there on Nvidia, just waiting. It's now 3:48, moments away from the imbalances to drop. So right now, here we go. So I did put point of control now up on our charting. So this is a 15-minute trade. Look right here. So if you're going to go to Nvidia or anything else like this is on eSignal. So we want to thank eSignal for their continued sponsorship as well. But yeah, just looking out. So right here, I have point of control. Basically, it's showing right now 191 or so right now for Nvidia. So I'm going to study that big scalp and figure out, you know, if I have any use for that and what that looks like on my side of things for that. But yeah, man, so far so good. Only trade that I've been, well, whatever, we've been in lots of trades, but this trade here this afternoon, we had Nvidia, we did not have Google, we did not have silver. We got out of that. We were going to put in on an AMD trade, and we didn't. Well, that was a good idea. We were going to break that 194, and we didn't put that on. So that was a pretty good idea not to do that. The only mark today is this. So 4 names traded, AMD, Google, 5 names, AMD, Google, Nvidia, the Qs, and silver today. So just followed the plan, man, and took 4 names, 3 for 4, but right into here, Google, a problem. And we used big size on this too because it came right in, so that flush kind of sucks. So we were red after taking this position, obviously not anymore. Okay, go to the 1 or 5 minute. Okay, you talking about that for big scalp? So what's up, big scalp? You want me to put the point of control on the 1 or the 5, or use it while looking at 1 and 5? This is all that I trade with, the 1 and the 5 minute charts. So I can put the point of control on there as well. But I'm going to look at it this afternoon and see what we've got going on here. Off to hockey practice tonight, and then here tomorrow. There it is. The imbalances are now out, and there goes Nvidia. It's a Dollar Club member. Once again, we're going to be happy as hell with that trade. Let's get rid of this broker and then see what's going on right now. But good moves there. 3 million. All right, everything looks to be pretty good coming through right now. Nvidia with a big buy, 2 million shares to go. Intel, Google with a bid underneath it as well. We'll see. Oops, I got to put my chart over. That's not doing too much there. Nvidia, Google, Apple. Okay, so they're all buys pretty much. I'm looking. I guess that's a pretty big number there, Adara. What was it? 2 billion?
1.2 billion the buy side there for the market. 1.5 billion for the Nasdaq. The Mag 7, really only 750. Okay, the Mag 7 only 750, but overall, almost 2 million shares to the buy side for the overall imbalances. I want to thank you. We just got a super chat in there as well, which I'll get up from David, I believe formerly David Tretsiak. Dedicated, appreciate that, 50. Thank you for the super chat there. Dedicated to Jesse Jackson, may rest in peace. We lost Jesse Jackson recently. And Rainbow Co. Education and Black History Month. Never repeat mistakes of the past and you control the future. I love those words. Alphabet for life as well. Well, let's hope so. Alphabet, I think, if you're looking at the Mag 7, we're not liking them that much today unless you're looking at Alphabet and Apple actually doing pretty well, Nvidia doing pretty solid. But again, it's just the Mag 7 term, they've really been doing much of anything together anymore. Not really. Not really. Like you look at Microsoft, still languishing a little bit. Yeah, not very good at all. So look, I agree with you on Alphabet. It's been pretty strong, relatively speaking, for them. We'll knock on a little bit of wood. I want my chart to show, but I got the Friday chart thing happening on Monday. There we go. It's a good bounce for it off of the 300, but today we just ran into a bit of a wall for Google. And that wall was just up around that 320 level. If it can hold on to 300, I think it's just fine in this area. But it's not like it's cheap. Like these aren't at prices where it's like, oh, this is historical, low PEs. No, I think people wouldn't be as concerned about all of the debt that they're taking on for these data centers if you were getting these things in the teens. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because in the fundamental price that you're paying for that extra risk that they're adding, it's like, yeah, well, that's not so bad. And the problem is you're still kind of paying, you're kind of paying these mid-20s and low 30s for the hyperscalers on top of all this crazy added debt that they're doing to finance the build out. If these were in 17, 18, there'd be just no problems whatsoever. You have a heck of a lot more buyers. With about 7 minutes to go here, everybody. Really, those bounces didn't really do much of anything on any of those names outside of Nvidia in that 1.4. It was sort of a nothing burger for that Citigroup. We expected it to come out at 4 million. It came out as absolutely nothing. Although still down 4 points today is Citigroup. Off that open, yikes. I don't wonder, because I haven't seen the XL, I can't remember the last time I saw the XLF do this outside of the financial crisis. I don't wonder if you just don't have a rebound day because of how heavy it was in some of these names. Like, that's usually where my first thought is. Like, the XLF is breaking the lows as we speak and already down 3.5 points. I don't wonder if there isn't some kind of a snapback. Only big earnings named after the bell is going to be HIMS, we just heard. Actually, Diamondback Energy as well. But remember, tomorrow morning we do have Home Depot. And for those that have asked, the aftermarket show this week will be back on Wednesday for obvious reasons. Why? Because Nvidia reports. That's the big one this week. I hate to say it's the only earnings name that matters, but it's the only one that's going to move the market all by itself, and that is going to be Nvidia. Home Depot we'll care about tomorrow morning. I think certainly it's a big one for the retail sector, but nothing matters to the overall market more than Nvidia. I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, join us here. Neil won't be here. Obi and I will be here that day for NVIDIA, and then we'll take it into the close, and we'll do a good job there on NVIDIA. You'll get it all first here, right? So if you're excited for your NVIDIA trades, catch us live on Wednesday night, and we'll be here till about 4:30 and review those and see how it is affecting the market. That, of course, is NVIDIA. Okay. Yeah, look, we're still in it. I'm going to get out if it breaks 191. We let our last couple percentage points go right there, so it's 355. We could get a flip. If we do, that's great. This is what those imbalances look like right now. It'll change in just 10 seconds. Hopefully we get upside. Maybe we should put an offer at 190. Let's put an offer way up high. 191.60s. See if we get that. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's see what happens with NVIDIA. Paired off to the downside, so we'll probably get stopped out at 191 if it does look to break down. Because, see, there's no more right here anymore. Someone in the chat said full self-drive all aboard for Tesla right now. Yeah, man, it is full self-driving itself right into 4 bills. I don't think we get there at the close. There we go. We got stopped out of NVIDIA for another hot dog trade right there on NVIDIA. That was a good one, man. We really topped off our day, made much more than just that extra cup of coffee, so that's nice. But GDX, oh, you know what? I didn't even really finish this here. Let's do this. This is roll up the rim, right? So right now, roll up the rim is back, Jack, back. Right here, so there it is. You got to roll up the rim. You can win various prizes. You could win an ID Buzz. You could win coffee, or you can win this. You can't see it. Or you can win this. Please play again. That's what it says. So that's a loss. So that's a fail right there. But I got 2 months of free Crave because they give it to you on the app as well. So that was a winner there.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, moving in. So NVIDIA's out. Tesla, you're going to end the day with the Nasdaq down 1.4%. Bad. ES down 1.2%. Bad. IWM, bad. The Russell was down almost 2% last time I checked. Bad, 1.7%. Silver up, huge, 5%. Good.
Bitcoin, bad.
Yeah, Bitcoin will be bad for a minute. Gold up, good. Bitcoin, IBIT. Let's see the percentage this is down. Watch out for a 5 handle tomorrow, down 5% there for IBIT. ETHA, we'll look at this one. $14, yuck, almost threw up in my mouth. That's down 6%. That's bad. Right? Was that what that feeling was? Right there. That's bad as well. So, yeah, the banks, a lot of the financial spots downside, as is all of crypto. What is XXRP like?
The VIX also broke that 21 resistance from last week. So that's inching higher. It was a bit of a reprieve after the tariff headline on Friday, but we're right back above that 21 level. Next stop 23. If we break that, the VIX you start to worry about it when we creep above into the 20s and above 25. That's when you really start thinking about a little bit more risk into the markets. But 2.5 minutes to go. A lot of bad Not much
bad.
good
Not bad.
unless you're in the metals.
Yeah.
The only thing that looked like a long this morning was gold and silver. I don't remember, there was a couple of small cappers in there that I think looked okay. And even those ended up crap, like RTX. RXT.
I wanted to see if CrowdStrike was making a move back. No, still down 10%. Bad.
IBM.
Pan W, yeah, I'm going through them all, man. Pan W, down 3%, bad. Bought this at lunchtime, bad. IBM getting absolutely killed today, bad, down 12%. Down 14%. Its worst move in 6 years. Salesforce also crushed, very bad to the downside there for Salesforce. So you got to watch out for CRM. Get your Salesforce going on your platform. Only down 4%. Could be a lot worse, but downside there as well. I'm surprised Palantir is not down a lot more than it was. It was only down 4% last time we checked. That's down 3 and a bit here as well, as a lot of these names just getting hit in the space. We talked about AppLovin as well. Maybe you should not have gotten added to the S&P 500. There's your lesson for that one. Down 9% for AppLovin, man. It's just getting bad out here, to be honest with you. And doesn't look like it's getting any better into the close, although the Nasdaq, nice little bump upside. So that's going to help out some of these names, but not some of the beat up ones, some of the better ones, like a Google, which continues to go a little higher there into the close, 311. That's nice, bouncing off some of their day lows as well. And then for tomorrow's short, we'll look again to see what AMD has up its sleeve tomorrow. And we'll just judge the headlines, man. Just make sure you join us every single day at 8 a.m. You'll get the sticky note. You'll get all of our notes. You get Sharice morning note. You get the watch list that Adara works on. Should be a lot of fun. But
tomorrow, Trader TV Academy.
Yeah.
I'd say one day, but one day is not true because it is less than 24 hours if we're being real about it. So we don't have that much time. We got 1 minute left in the market. We got less than one day till the Trader TV Academy comes live as well. And been waiting around for a while for this. And we're excited for sure, and I hope everybody is as well. So with about 30 seconds to go, there was a little bit of a bounce, as you mentioned there. There was, Congress not going to codify the tariffs, so that caught us small bounce, not a huge one, nothing like what we saw last week, but it's better than nothing. Any buying off the lows is better than the alternative, which is ending the day at the low of the day. Late money matters more than early money, but it's still a muted bounce overall. And it was like triple bottom. Basically, Friday's lows on the Qs is exactly where we're going to end up bouncing. As this closing bell, first of the week, brought to you by Beta Pro, you can see right there. Shout out to them. Let's theoretically ring it. I heard a bit of a sound there for the bell. So that is the end of this Monday. It's been a good one. It's been a fun one. Tomorrow is even better. Why? Because Trader TV Academy, and because every day that you get to trade in the market is always more fun than the day before. Plus, it's also a day closer to Nvidia earnings.
Yeah, Kratos, KTOS is now out. We can have a quick look at. By the way, Nvidia just shot the hell up at the close, so congratulations if you got cooking on that one. That was a good one. Here's Kratos, Defense and Secretary Security Solutions, not Secretary, downside. So not good again. Here we go, man. Kratosing. Cratering downside right now. So we'll have to wait to see what goes on with that tomorrow. Thank you so much. It's been a fine day. Brendan, Sharif, Joe, Neil, Adara, Ramin, everybody that's here, and even those that aren't.
Yo!
Chilean Nightmare. There he is, Raheem. How's it going, my guy over there? There is Arman.
Arman.
How are you? He's like, shut up.
Oh, he's all shy now.
Right there, yeah. He's having a good day. I'm sure the gold and silver plays right there, Raheem. He loves those mining stocks. So shout out, always a good one. Thank you so much. Family over everything. I'm Sean. That's Neil. Ciao till tomorrow.